Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome to the September Revelations. This is such an extraordinary moment. It is so powerful. And given what happened right here last night in the first of what will be 12 pyramids of peace around this world, we're going to make that happen. It was a night of illumination. I have some short video to show you. I have some things to share with you. But last night, the lasers raised the energy. People were celebrating and dancing. And that is exactly the energy that we want to take into September right now. This is a month that is so profound. There is so much happening that I wanted to begin by reading once again the potentiality of peace ensoulment. Because in this moment, if ever there was a time to look at the equanimity of the masculine and the feminine, to harmonize and bring that together, to find that sea, that balance, that beautiful harmonic ocean, it's right now. And September is intense. There is a lot to share. And this morning, we created yet another beautiful altar for beloved wisdom teacher Sri Ram Ka, who, due to his ascended presence, this pyramid exists, this miracle exists. And so I wanted to have his energy with us as well, because this ensoulment came in on Wednesday, October 12th, 2022. And I'm going to invite you to bring your hands to your heart right now and really take in a nice deep Ave Sa breath, breathing in Ave, exhaling, and receive. Imagine a world in this moment where those who are currently wondering if there will be a world to awaken to could lay their heads and rest. Really breathe that in. And I just want to check my audio and make sure you're hearing me, which you are. Imagine a world in this moment where those who are currently wondering if there will be a world to awaken to could lay their heads and rest. Imagine a world where all children are offered the gift of remembering who they are and why they are here. Imagine a world where the shared bounty, really breathe that in, where the shared bounty of this truly miraculous planet is harvested with love, joy, and appreciation of the gift that is patiently waiting for all to remember. Breathing in, then let go of imagining and invite knowing. I want you to breathe that, because that's what September is about. It's about letting go of the imagining and inviting the knowing. How long are you going to keep talking before you start walking? The walking moment is here. It has been here. Know the world where peace is the foundation. Know the world where all children are nourished so that their wisdom may nourish us. Know the world of shared bounty and the recognition that with each breath, we share equal space as one. Know Gaia as she was and has always been, radiant, glorious, aromatic, supportive, loving, generous, beautiful, nourishing. For to know Gaia as you remember her at the moment of the seeding of this extraordinary journey of conscious ascension is to remember and claim the truth of your mastery presence right now. And so I do want to start with a deep bow of appreciation for you, for showing up, for being here, for saying yes, for expanding beyond the paradigms that seek to hold you in the energy of victim consciousness, for surrounding yourself with the blessing of support to know that you are not alone, you are not crazy, and let go of all the definitions so that you can honestly remember who you are beyond the self-limitation. Welcome to September. I'm excited. And I hope you are too. I want to just remind you that as you're gazing here at this beautiful pyramid of peace, that this first level, remember that this is 72 feet tall, it's 7 stories tall. And that this first level, level 1, is made of Bahareke. And the reason that Sri Ramka insisted it had to be Bahareke was so that we would always remember the foundation, the nourishment of the womb, of the divine feminine. Bahareke is our ancient building style here from the indigenous. This pyramid, remember, was built without electricity, without metal. This is mud and straw and a beautiful process that's done here through the way that they combine fibers to create this incredibly strong construction material. Because is that not what the divine feminine is? She's all the construction materials, and they're incredibly strong. And they're of this planet. They support this planet. The feminine energy is ready to be in equanimity. And that's what all this bamboo is, this beautiful bamboo. It was a 5-year grow from a sustainable forest right here on the coast of Ecuador. To grow to this level of width and sturdiness and length takes 5 years. And these are the benevolent masculine, the foundation of the divine feminine, with the benevolent masculine rising. So where does all that take us? What does this pyramid stand for? Why am I opening with the potentiality of peace? Because everything, every single thing that is happening in your world right now is and of itself a miraculous moment of sacred union. And I want you to really breathe that in. And I really want to encourage you, if go listen or listen again to the most recent episode of Expanding Consciousness. It's right here, YouTube official Sri Kira, or over at amfm247.com. Listen to that Sacred Union broadcast, because that's part of the archive. That's part of the encyclopedia of consciousness itself. The arrival into that sacred union partnership that expands beyond space and time, sustains the body of form, and is basically the living pyramid, the integration of the divine feminine and the benevolent masculine. So let's breathe that in, and I'm going to go take a seat, and we're going to move over to the center of the pyramid itself. And as we are here right now, and let me turn on the video again, forgive me. There we are. So as we are here right now, right before we came on today, because of Sri, and as you know, this is the last book that was put out while he was still in living form, and I really encourage you to own many copies of this book. Read it. It's one of those short, really jam-packed, every sentence is a teaching type books, right? But I asked today, I said, show me what I would want to show everyone from this book. And I love that I opened to pages 66 and 67, because you see on page 67, we're right here. That is the same corner of the pyramid that is now Shri's altar. And that is, of course, part of the indigenous people that we work with when they were here. And I found that quite profound, that everything was just saying, go right here. And it's one little thing I'm going to read to you from page 67, because it really is the September energy as an essence. So bringing a hand to your heart and breathing in, exhaling, there we are. The ability to command light as the highest service is the mastery presence of the law of instantaneous manifestation in form. Right here in form. And so I want to, before I go any further today, I want to just share with you a photo of what this pyramid looked like last evening. And there we are. Is that amazing? Look at that. And that's lasers that you're seeing. This is gazing up into the pyramid, and you can see the geometries and the lasers. And because it was a little dark, we did do a live broadcast. We tried the best we could to get more lighting in here. The structures and the energies of the sacred geometries that were just beaming here were really palpable and very much about what's happening right now. And I encourage you to check out toastofbluemountain.com. Get down here for the September equinox. There's going to be so much happening. And I wanted to also offer you just a moment. I'm going to invite you to go ahead and just bring your hand to your heart. And there you go. Look at that. So that's from our parking lot, gazing up to the hill where the Pyramid of Peace is. People are in, there's hundreds of people inside dancing. What you're not seeing is all the other. It was very much like a mini Glastonbury was going on here at that moment. But do you see that? Do you see the gift of all those lasers and all those colors? And we had people showing up from across the valley, because what I love is that it's such a metaphor for all of us, that people were driving over from across, literally across our valley, because the pyramid was emitting such a profound energy that people just wanted to come and be a part of this. And that's what the 5 stages, the 5 phases of conscious evolution do for us. They bring us to a moment where we are called, where we understand, where we can let go of the need to have to keep asking questions, because the answers are revelatory, and the trust in the answers being present is extraordinary. And that's why commanding the body is so important right now. September is a month of momentum, 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 momentum. And that momentum began in that transitional moment last night. And so that's why last night it was very much the invitation to get up, dance, have fun, remember, let yourself expand, be the rhythm of life itself. Because in that, and I want to share with you first and foremost, of course, the September ascended numerology, there it is. So as you're gazing at the ascended numerology for September, what you are noticing right now, and I'm going to make it just a little smaller so that I can see it on my computer. Forgive me, everyone. I can't see it all. I didn't, hold on. So as you're gazing at it, though, there we go. All right. Notice that September in and of itself is the 6th. So the first thing you have to remember is that's the mind. That's the mental mind. So the mental mind this whole month is going to say, at the end of the day, I've got this. But, and it's a huge one. Look at what September 2024 is. When you bring that mind into this field of potentiality right now, it becomes the 5 plus the infinite. It means that the mind is relaxing back out into its eternal life presence, into the gift of being eternal life itself, standing in the infinite, thereby releasing the 5 from that emotional mental pull. If you stand in the center of consciousness, this right now, and this is that moment to model it, own it, be it, see it, and live it. If you're standing in that, then everything else becomes the gift of your command. Consider that. As you gaze at the wheel, if you go right into the middle there, you see that 5 going right up to the middle, because it takes you right out where? At the 12, tomorrow. We are in the energy right now of an eternal life new moon, in the energy of the eternal life presence itself, holding us in consciousness, holding us in conscious awareness. Tomorrow we hit a 12 o'clock hour, physical. Tomorrow is physical. So everything in the physical world tomorrow is coming in, and here's the gift. It's coming in as the 6 plus 6. So you see that dotted line there? We threw ourselves a lifeline, because the physical and the mental love to always be at odds with each other. But we threw this lifeline right through consciousness itself and said, no, I'm going to stand in the center and see and be. And it's glorious. This is a glorious moment of expansion in the energy of this eternal life new moon, in the energy of the 5 phases. And as we do that, we're going to stay there until Saturday, because on Saturday the 7th, we have an amazing energy moving in, and it's this Saturn opposition. And this Saturn opposition is having a really big effect. And I love that it comes in as the infinite 8 itself, that we move all the way around and takes us beyond, right? That we are at that 12 on the full moon. But by the time we hit Saturday, we're all the way through it. We've moved through the emotional, we've moved through the mental, and we're on our way up, almost touching spiritual integration. And that's really powerful, because when that Mercury retrograde post-phase completes on September 12th, not that much later, right? What's happening is that's going to put us right back at the 6 in a new perspective. The mind is going to understand that you are here. How you show up is your choice. But this is an extremely important moment, because as we move through that post phase, remember, we're in the post phase right now, and you can really feel that, all the remembering, all the returning, all the things that are just really coming together, and all the pieces and putting that, it's just a wonderful moment to be on top of your game, to stay there. Because when we get to September 27th, that is this incredible transformational full moon. And forgive me, remember, tomorrow we're in the new moon, forgive me. So that energy of that new moon is eternal life, as I mentioned. And the full moon, when that comes in again on September 17, it's a full moon of infinite awareness, preparing us for the equinox, that infinite awareness. Now that is a moment when you're going to see, because everything this month is about equanimity. Everything is about spinning the wheels of eternal time. And I'm going to show you that, because right now you are the commander of the ship. You are the commander. The wheels are all spinning. You can reset what potentiality is serving your highest. Where can you be of the highest service right now, where you also are whole? Remember that, because look where we're going on the 22nd. On the 22nd, we arrive at the 3. Really powerful. You realize that we have the 12, the 6, the 3. 3 cardinal points this month. And on the equinox, it's about the Trinity. It's about mastery. It's about really inviting that energy, the energy of the love and the joy, right? The love and the joy to really come together. To be a circulation. And so I'm going to stop the share for a minute and invite you to breathe into everything I've been saying, and to notice what you're noticing, to really notice what you're noticing. And remember that we are taking your questions live, and I'm trying to open up your questions right now. And here we are. I have, just to check in, and remember, you can put them over at YouTube Live. Sue is there right now, and she's making sure those questions get to me. Right now, what we do have, because I have so much to share, I just want to kind of keep it on track for you guys. Number 1, Gary. Hey, Gary, loving you. Namaste. We are one thing, expressing itself in infinite and limitless ways. Much love. Namaste, angels. Well, thank you, Gary, and much love to you. And then we have a beautiful comment from Nava talking about last night's broadcast. That broadcast is one of a kind, so profound, I'll have to listen to this a few times over. Thank you, Nava. I bow before you. And yeah, last night's broadcast may have been dark, but there was a lot of important information and energy. So maybe let go of the fact that it might not have as much brightness in the video, yet you're feeling the energy of that rebirth, because that's what's happening for all of humanity right now. Is we are in the essence of a profound rebirth. And I want to remind you of a couple things. Number 1, remember, as we are moving through the September energy, and we are moving through it right now, that you're gazing at the victim energy, right? You're gazing at what I call the density trifecta. You have this victim, rescuer, abuser that supports the self-sabotage cycle of fear, hesitancy, and doubt. Yet eternally, you are, relaxing the eyes. You are that 0-point field, creating that torus field of creation all the time. So here's what's so important, and why I wanted you to gaze at this again right now today, is that the September equanimity, what's coming in right now, is going to basically invite you to go way out of every paradigm you have ever carried, to really smile. I mean, really smile and bring a hand to your heart, to lovingly notice your breath, because the imminence of this moment is here. And that means that some people are going to have some anxiety issues, some fear issues might come up. And that's why I wanted you to really look at that victim conscious again. And remember that fear, hesitancy, and doubt is the self-sabotage. They also are the seeds that keep us stuck in this, dogmatic experience of needing a rescuer. Thereby, there will always be a victim. Thereby, there will always be an abuser. So right now, remember that the depth of your soul, this September moment, as we are spinning the wheels of eternal time, and they are all spinning, we are stepping into the field of creation itself. We're already here. We're already in it. And this weaving, this magnitude of everything that's happening is building, 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 building until we get to that equinox moment. Because the bottom line is that as we have arrived into this field of potentiality right now, and as Saturn starts shifting into that opposition, which is going to happen this week, we're in, the only way I can describe it is like a rewind moment. So if you were in a rewind moment, number one, knowing that it's filled with support, knowing, and again, it's about moving into that knowing, right? Knowing that the unlimited resource, and I mean unlimited resource of universal wisdom, is yours to harvest as everything is ready to be. And it's ready to be remembered into its highest expression of form. Because when we give ourselves the gift of remembering, it is the embodiment of steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust. Because remembrance cannot happen unless we trust that which is being shown in our field to remember. Right now, you need to know, beyond that fear, doubt, and hesitancy, know that if you have ever dreamed it, seen it, felt it, couldn't understand why it hadn't happened, all of those emotional energies, all those frequencies that we navigate, right? But just know that if you have ever dreamed it, imagined it, put it in front of you, you've already accomplished it. And if you have already accomplished it, and you know you have already accomplished it, then sit in the fields of eternal time and give yourself the gift of seeing what the collective fullness is that you need to bring in. Because right now, our collective fullness of conscious cosmic presence, I want you to breathe that in, the collective fullness of conscious cosmic presence is preparing this very specific field of potentiality for the post-equinox world. Now breathe that in. Feel that. We are in a moment of undeniable knowing. Everyone knows it at some experience of their conscious awareness because we have arrived there. And we are in a moment of the undeniable knowing that this incredible flow of eternal wisdom, and I mean, it's extraordinary. It's wisdom, it's mastery, it's right here. It's right in front of us. And because this is for all, this is why the all is coming forward. Remember that September is a month where awareness is the key. And it's going to be about the depth of the self-inquiry, the ability to reveal the blessing of the peace, love, and joy through the smile of the awareness, to recognize that, okay, the journey might not have been the way I expected, right? Normally isn't. It might have been a lot longer than I thought. It might have taken me places I really kind of wish I had never gone. But it's that moment where you know it's worth it. That's worth it. It's worth it for you. It's worth it for your children. It's worth it for your children's children. It's worth it for this extraordinary gift, this potentiality that we have all called together. To remember that in the energy of the six itself is also the eternal Merkaba, right? And as the divine feminine arrives into this field as the essence of equanimity, then the self-ascension energies integrate. And let me share that with you. I want to share with you what that looks like, because that integration is really important to understand, because it's how we get to that sacred union and the template of consciousness itself, which I'm going to be sharing all of this with you. So here we are. We're gazing right now at that integration of the self-ascended chakra portrait. So if you're new to this, what you're gazing at are your chakras in the state of self-ascension, which then ignites the Merkaba in the same ratio as this pyramid here. Because remember that the equilateral Merkaba is designed for traveling in this field of potentiality. It will take you, it's a light body, it will take you in many different fields of experiences, but they're all wrapped to this potentiality. And that's cool. And it's expansive and it's amazing. And it can take thousands of experiences in that to arrive at a moment where you're ready to stand into your cosmic presence, your divine sacred union. And so after an Ave Sa balancing, and you can learn how to be a balancing practitioner at home, right? After an Ave Sa balancing, what happens is that your chakras move from those orbital experiences into the energy of the infinite presence itself. And your first chakra right now is being invited to stabilize outside the realm of a need for safety, to know I am safe. I deserve because I was born. I am safe. The ultimate sacred union begins with the peace at the first chakra because you know you are safe. It means that you are safe within, that you trust that divine flow. It doesn't mean that you're inactive, quite the contrary. Once you are aware, you're more active than ever. You know, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop more wood, carry more water. It's just what it is. And so when we're rising into this equanimity, and this is what you're seeing here, the second chakra, which in this world has this sex experience around it, which is why we're here. It's part of our creative aspects. It's all part of our nature. It's where we create the second chakra, the womb, the birth, the rebirth. So imagine that coming from a power, a sense of empowered love that's rising through the peace of trust. Because then when those two unify, when that beautiful peace and love unify, you lift into the third chakra. And instead of the need for dominion and power and games and jealousy and greed and competition, you are sustained by the joy of right action. You do things because they're just the right thing to do. You stop keeping a tick mark sheet. There's no tit for tat. There's no, I did this, so you do this. There's no, you owe me. There's the joy of simply being present, knowing that you're being placed in the right place at the right time, knowing that whatever skills you have, whatever is going on inside of you, you learned it, you acquired it so you could be available for that moment right now. Because that's when the ascended heart stabilizes. And when the ascended heart stabilizes, we ignite our ascended presence. Truth emerges, fifth chakra. The clarity of our connection, sixth chakra. Star consciousness opens, right? Seventh. And then we become the gift of our self-ascended presence in formed awareness in the divine partnership of the ultimate sacred union. And this is what September is calling in. It's calling in divine partnership through the sacred union of the balance. Now, I want you to take in a breath on that, and I want to remind you of a couple things, because this is really important to understand how we got here, because this is a journey, and it really is very much the journey. I'm going to sit down, so I'm just going to give you a little different view. How's that? This is the journey of the pillar, right? Many of you always ask me, what's a pillar? What's a torch? Well, this is very much about the journey of the pillar. And the reason I call it the pillar's journey is because it's the 5 stages of the conscious evolution, what many call enlightenment, that comes through a template of consciousness that we are able to navigate as the 5 medicines. So as you're really breathing that in, as you're really feeling that, I want to share with you again that, and I'm gonna put this up because I want you to be aware. There we are. Okay. So I'm sharing with you, number one, that I really, with all my heart and soul, encourage you to go to sriandkira.com, and hey, this Wednesday, it's brand new. So if you're catching this live and you go to sriandkira.com, see how it looks, but then go back late this Wednesday, which would be like September 3 or 4, and check out the all new website. We're very excited about it. We've been working on it for quite a while. And I am as you are, Mystical Monday is honestly what it says here. It's when this magic becomes joyfully real. Because at I Am Mystical Monday, there's things that I share that I just don't feel comfortable sharing on YouTube, because it's for those that are ready to hear it. And if you're ready to hear it, be there. And what I want you to gaze at right here are the 5 medicines. And this is why I wanted to also share this with you, because consciousness itself, you see right there where my hands are, when we are able to stabilize the first, second, and third chakra into that peace, love, and joy, when our fourth chakra becomes that stabilized ascended heart, that's when our ascension, our divine galactic blueprint, and you can learn about all of this at sriandkira.com, it's free. That's when our divine galactic blueprint, the 12-pointed ascended chakra, ignites so that we can be the carrier to embody all that I am as you are, the full totality of our soul's journeys, all of them, into this field through spinning those wheels of eternal time. Now, I'm going to take a breath on that and invite you to do the same thing. And that's why I'm saying, meet me here. Come into that sacred union moment. And I wanted you to see the spin and to kind of feel that spin on the body, which is why I wanted to offer that sharing with you. Other than, I'm really serious, get to Monday Mastery. It's an incredible co-creative experience where a lot of magic happens. And so what does all this mean for September? Well, first, let's remember the sacred sequence. And so as you're gazing at this right now, remember that the sacred sequence of incarnation is the foundation of true freedom, period. Because if you can honestly live, accept, and own the sacred sequence of incarnation, it frees you. It frees you from the strong pull, that pull of the illusionary potentiality, the pull that makes you feel guilty, the pull that makes you think you've done something other than navigate and know that you're navigating. Because it's through that gift we remember the true balance, and we have that harmonization through the frequency of conscious awareness. But in order to really hold the frequency of conscious awareness, it sincerely needs the acceptance of the sacred sequence of incarnation. Because the sacred sequence of incarnation is beyond dogma. The sacred sequence of incarnation, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, we do have a home study course on this, and it's very inexpensive, ShriAndKara.com, go get it. The sacred sequence of incarnation moves us through our cosmic experience. And I'm using the word cosmic because in this potentiality, it's the closest that we can relate to that experience. But the sacred sequence of incarnation is you. It's your eternal presence. This is why ascended numerology exists, to decode the sacred sequence while we're in this form of potentiality. That's why that sequencing was carried by the ancient magi. That's why the scrolls were burned in the libraries of Alexandria, because the understanding of the sacred sequence of incarnation is in direct conflict with dogma. Because all dogma in this field of potentiality must exist inside the victim consciousness of a victim, a rescuer, and an abuser. And so if dogma exists inside of that field, then in order to sustain itself, because it demands control, right? So in order to sustain itself, it creates a self-sabotage mechanism and a free will zone so that nothing has to happen except you sabotaging yourself. And it's really an interesting step, right? It's a step-by-step experience into that. Now, that's part of the journey. That's actually part of the journey. And in September, we're really seeing that journey. And let me show you, because this is what is happening. And this is what has happened now. We have arrived at a moment where the template of consciousness itself has come forward. And as you gaze and you look at the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the physical, and then consciousness itself, you see what look like sails. And those of you that have been joining us in the Monday Mastery, in the mysticism and the magic of it, I taught you how to look at this and how to use your eyes to really see what's moving here. And I invite all of you to come and learn. But you look at these phases of consciousness itself. Well, what's so important is that phase one is all about love and healing. It's all about love and healing. And so as all of these phases, remember, this is the 5. September is, we have this whole 5 and the infinite thing coming in. We've got a lot going on. And so love and healing. So as you look at your physical, emotional as one unit, look at the love, look at the healing. What is it showing you? Because you move through this with different experiences of conscious awareness. You're constantly, as long as you're carrying a body of form, you're constantly going to be moving through this. It's how you move through this, just like the Yoga of Self-Ascension. Archangel Zadkiel 101, the 4 steps are in no specific order for the Yoga of Self-Ascension. However, it is a never responding spiral. Well, when it comes to the template of consciousness by which we are existing in this self-ascended experience, this has phases. They are distinct, and they similarly are ever refining and moving and shifting, especially as we have moved into and are now expanding through this incredible moment. And so gazing at the love and the healing of the physical, emotional, imagine gaining that, walking through these with that conscious awareness, right? Holding that phase 5. You don't have to be active in phase 5, because moving into the activity of phase 5 is uniquely different than the experience of phase 5. And that's why this is a complete course that's going to begin in October. Because as you look at the physical, emotional, and you're in that love healing, well, then what happens with the emotional, mental? It's devotion. It's devotion. It's sacred service. It's moving the emotional and the mental into a field of, you do it because it's the right thing to do. Thereby, there are no questions. There is no challenge. There is no resistance. It's the devotion to the blessing of the healing and the love and the awareness of that. You see how instead of it being the dive that needs to be rectified, it becomes the lift that needs to be. This is how Shri and I did this together. It took us 22 years, but we went through every one of these phases together. And that's the key, is to be aware of that you move from that love and healing into that emotional, mental, which is devotion and true service. And all of this is becoming fuel. It's all becoming momentum. And all of this is happening in September, the whole thing, right? Especially building toward the equinox. And then literally it's like a moment, it's like a demarcation line, and then the post-equinox world, because that's exactly what's happening. And so when we're in that mental moment, when we're moving from the mental all the way up to the spiritual, that's the ignition of the violet flame. That's when the violet flame comes in. That's when we start seeing beyond, because we are in the presence of the love. We are in the presence of the healing. We are in the presence of the devotion and the service, which ignites a greater sense beyond the mental. It's like the violet flame pulls us up, ignites and opens the spiritual aspects of all that I am as you are. It's a purification moment. And it is very much a journey with massive amounts of twists and turns and spirals and all kinds of incredible things. And then we hit phase 4. And phase 4 is so powerful because it's the healing presence itself. It's the lifting of the spiritual back into the physical. It's the release of the presence of the ego into the ascension consciousness while in form. It's the unification. It's bringing it all in, because that's when we can start phase 5. Phase 5 is the living embodiment of the unified field, the ultimate adaptation into the recognition, the remembrance, the knowing, the joy, and the beauty of all that has ever been. And I want to give you a minute to just really, really breathe that in and feel that. And I'm looking over here and want to see if there's anything that you would like to share and bring you in right now. And let's see. I do have a sharing from someone that's saying that, this is from Gary. Kira, I have been blessed to experience Shri since he left the body, and his energy and light is as deep as his voice when he put a hand on his heart and gave us a namaste. Thank you for sharing that. You know, that really is the moment we are at, is it not? That moment where we are sharing that very deep namaste. And I want to invite you, I want to share with you the September calendar, because it's really powerful. And forgive me that in my getting everything ready today, did not bring that up. So I'm just searching for it right now, because it's important to remember that in this moment of the divine unified field, when we come together in that energy, when that energy comes forward, and give me 1 second, everyone, forgive me. I need to find the calendar for you, because I really want to share it, and I do forgive me for doing that. Okay, there it is, right there. I'm opening it. And what's important, I'm going to share with you, because when we are in this moment of extraordinary, and I mean really extraordinary feminine presence, it means that everything that is unlike that presence will do its best to stop it. And this is powerful because of the tria prima. and all that has come in right now. And so I want to share with you this calendar because September is massive. And here we are. So as you gaze at it, the first thing I want you to notice is that if you relax your eyes, you'll see on the left that 5, the eternal life presence, right? The living Ankh essence. And that living Ankh essence is right on us. You see tomorrow? So you see that new moon is illuminating the truth of the eternal presence. And this is a massive move tomorrow. And as we stay in that and move through this week, you'll notice it's the eyes, right? It's the truth ignites our eternal presence as the eyes of the divine feminine are seeing all as we move into this Saturn opposition on Saturday. And as it says right up at the top, this is a moment to step into the field of creation itself, to walk the walk, to give yourself the gift of knowing I am as you are, and to let yourself really see that and to witness your own bias, to witness your own experience when you might be feeling that, you notice you're not holding I am as you are. To know that the divine feminine has arrived into the field of equanimity. So that is going to push out anything less than acceptance. If there is anything that is battling or struggling with this or trying to codify it, anytime you try to say, well, in order for it to be equal, it has to have this, this, and this, is that in and of itself saying it never can be? You're saying, here's a set of rules for what equal looks like versus I welcome you, let us create. And that's where the Saturn opposition comes in, because the Saturn is in opposition as the rewind moment is supported by Mercury. So Saturn and Mercury are having this beautiful dance right now. And it's really inviting us to know that we are, as I have up here again, we are preparing for the imminence. And that really is the energy. It's the energy of imminence. Imminence. It means deep within you, if you know something is imminent, meaning it's right now, it's happening, you might not know the exact hour, but notice your breath, right? Okay, I know it's coming. I know it's before me. I know this is happening. Are you able to say, I know it's coming? Yay! Breathe. Or is it causing, right? Shallow breathing. Is it, oh my God, instead of, okay, expansion, expansion, expansion. The flowing eternal presence is here for us all. And when you gaze at September and you see this forward explosion of illumination that is being carried by the divine feminine, balanced by the eternal life presence, which is what you're gazing at, that's the moment when anything unlike that, anything that's not even close to that, will become a challenge because it's resisting. So you have to first gaze within yourself. Are you in harmony with you? Are you ready to look at the 5 medicines and see, can you stand in that center of consciousness and really be aware? Give yourself that gift to pay attention. And I want to remind you again, I'm going to bring it up, the cosmic experience of what's happening. If you gaze at that Einstein-Rosen bridge, and I mention this a lot, and I really encourage you, we are the generator of the bridge itself when we are able to step beyond the limitations of the mind of form that constrain us from even being in the acceptance of the potentiality of being more than just this, more than this body, more than this beautiful, incredible experience of co-creation. When we embody the sacred union of the divine presence, when we really say yes, right? When we are in that journey to be the pillar, to say yes to all that I have ever been. Well, then what you're gazing at here is that all of those, all of this that you're looking at right here, all of the spin is happening at your command. So Remember that sacred union, the blessing of sacred union, is the gift of discovering partnership beyond relationship. It's the place where right there, where consciousness thrives, where the five medicines unify, where all of that, the love, the healing, the devotion, the violet flame ignition, the application, the readiness, where that is the place where we began. It's the place where the ancient rishis and sages, the perennial philosophies, it's the place where we've always been. And this September, this moment is inviting you to remember that fully, beyond all sense of doubt, beyond all sense of fear, beyond all sense of hesitancy, right? Fear, doubt, hesitancy, that the doubt trifecta, the self-sabotage trifecta. This is the gift of this moment. And I really want to encourage you that I'm going to share with you, I've been really looking at how quickly the energy of cell phone addiction is affecting the peace experience, the five medicines experience, all of it. And I know that many of you are probably catching this on your cell phone, and that's fabulous, and I'm glad you are. And I want to encourage you to remember this, as I've shared with all of you. It is important to remember that the minute you engage your cell phone, it will come after your emotional body. And it comes after your emotional body because the emotional body is the easiest body to work with. It is where addictions form. It is where doubt resides. It is where fear resides. It is the primary fall. Remember, through the sacred sequence of incarnation, as a pillar of divine conscious awareness and sacred union and partnership and the awareness of that, I like to call it, you cast the line, right? You send out that first fishing line and you cast the line and it hooks into this, because this is the hook. And because this is the hook, it's going to do everything it can to keep you, because it's like, hey. And this is why the body is, when we talk about humanity's 12 o'clock hour, it is the physical. And from the physical, the minute we enter into the physical, we begin the fall. And that's that initial cycle, right? It's that fall into the emotional body. Basics, right? First chakra, keep me safe, keep me warm. I need food, I need shelter, I need love, I need lots of things. And if I don't get it, I am afraid. So at our core, we are cast into fear because this is a fear-based potentiality. There's nothing wrong with that. We created it. What happens if we dive into a fear-based co-created potentiality? How are we going to navigate that? How are we going to come through it? Where will consciousness bring us? Well, the good news is it's brought us to now. It's brought us to this September. It has brought us to the moment where the divine feminine and the benevolent masculine are actually able to see each other. Because remember, go back in 2012, and I put out a lot of books then. But one of the biggest things that happened was that this specific field of potentiality started spinning its own wheels, and it started moving. And it was that time when most of the energy of the pure consciousness that radiates the frequency of this planet and holds the harmony moved from the Himalayas to the Andes. And so the Andes became, it was one of the polar shifts that many have not really talked about. And so as that came in, you have the mighty Himalayas, you have the mighty Andes, and you have these profound energies of the masculine and the feminine carrying profound traditions, gazing at each other for the first time, having to relax their egos and see the value of being unified. Now breathe that in, because with that, you cannot bring those mountains without bringing the mighty rivers. And it was in the bringing of the waters, when the energy of Mother Ganga met with the energy of the mighty Amazon, that the whirlpool began. Two very, very equal beings carrying profound power, resonance, support, energy, so much that it's impossible to even demarcate or talk about. But we have been spinning for 12 years with these waters like this. We have watched these mountains do this. I remember when Sri and I were in Bhutan, that I was standing up in the mountains of Bhutan. That's where you see all these flags here at Tosep. We have 44 that we brought back from Bhutan. And I remember standing up on the top of the Himalayas there and immediately feeling teleported right back here to the Andes Mountains. And I remember how unstable it felt. And this is why we brought back the flags, to send a radiance of stability. This is why you see what's happening in India. I am blessed and honored to know India very well, to have family and dear, dear, dear friends there. Incredible. And the shifts in India are palpable because this shift, this stability is still anchoring. That's what this September is calling to our attention. We must finish this. When that moved in 2012, we are now 12 years later. It is right now. It is this equinox. It is this balance when the unified field of sacred union outside of relationships carry games and blames and you and them and whatever. Partnership is the wholeness coming together and celebrating that, holding the fact that we're still going to be in the 5 medicines, but it's how we navigate them and the way that we hold the core of our conscious awareness of all that I am as you are, that continues and remains to be that which keeps us together. So I want you to really bring your hands to your heart and really feel that, because when I want to offer you an invitation as you move through the month of September, other than get to tosepbluemountain.com, get down here, go to sriandkira.com, especially if you're catching this later in the week that it first aired, and give yourself the gift of diving into an experience of your conscious awareness that you're ready to have, that may answer a lot more questions and invite you to expand into a depth of who you are beyond where you have ever been. Because we are all right now collectively at that moment. Even as we're breathing together right now, consciousness has moved you further than you have ever gone before. And the word of caution I want to offer to you is, first of all, go to my YouTube channel, Official Sri and Kira, over at YouTube, and type in erase, erase, erase. Because the ultimate mind control is right here. And this phone is used for 2 things. Our intentional community, making sure that if there's ever an emergency, they have a way to get a hold of me, and to receive messages to share with you when I'm on the air. What I have noticed is that when the utilization of that phone becomes habitual, when the emotional body is, let me just check, or I must respond now, or I need to do this, you have given your power away artificially. And in so doing, the wheel freezes. You're still in the wheel, but instead of it spinning, it freezes. And it will often freeze in the emotional or mental. And when those freeze, and where any of them freeze, including the physical, you start having collapse. So if you're starting to notice things that are not feeling good around you, if you're noticing a greater sense of discomfort, if you're feeling more anxiety, if you're feeling anxious about anything, if you're preoccupied with the world, if you're really wanting to know, tell me, that's because you have, and the word I'm going to use is an AI bot that comes in through the frequencies. It comes right in through here on the eyes, right through the middle of the eye. It then goes on top of the ear. It loops around and connects to the medulla. You can erase it. It's right there at Sri and Kira, official Sri and Kira at YouTube. Erase, erase, erase. Do the practice often. Because if you're unable to let go of the addiction, or you're absolutely convinced that you can't, when you start sending a signal to the body that you're aware, you might find that all of a sudden you can. You're releasing things that used to be a problem, and suddenly you're aware of more, and your usage shifts more, and you find times of really receiving the gift of nature more. I encourage you, hold hands with someone, hug a lot. Remember that we are meant to be form in this experience. I am not my body. First of the four knowns, get this book, right? I am not my body. However, I came to have it. It's the number one reason we come. It's our 12 o'clock hour. We come to grow hair, touch each other, find out what teeth are, use these eyes, perceive things this way. And in the divine partnership, in the sacred union where consciousness thrives, the five medicines are spinning and you are eternally creating. I want to invite you to give yourself a breath, a moment to just simply be, to remember that I am as you are, to allow that gift to radiate in your life always. And as you do, and as you come into that moment, hold on, forgive me. I got stuck in something here that doesn't seem to want to go away, and I don't know how to get rid of it. So I'm just going to quick stop my share. There we go. I want to invite you right now to say yes to you, to remember that if within you there is any sense of resistance between the equanimity of all that identifies male and or female and all of the broad aspects of that, this is your moment to find your peace, your love, your joy, so that you can meet me here, right here, in the field of consciousness itself. To remember that when we are holding our heart, when we are igniting our ascended presence, the wheel won't stop and we are able to be the magic. We are able to live the expansiveness of our divine mastery presence beyond all fields of fear, hesitancy, and doubt. September is huge. Stay with us all month. Make sure you get to SriandKara.com, get our email list so that you get the freshest updates every week, and join us at Mystical Monday and expand more. I love you with all my heart. September is extraordinary. It's equanimity, and the equinox will demarcate one world from another.